So if alt season is just getting started, and you mentioned earlier that if equities is really the only thing that can prevent alts from mooning, I believe, right?
Right.
Uh, can alts keep on mooning possibly if equities crash and Bitcoin crashes? Are we now in a world where DeFi and maybe some other alts, maybe the higher end alts have kind of uncoupled or decoupled from Bitcoin and from equities? Is that world possible?
Okay, so that world is possible, but we have to talk about magnitude, right? So, if equities correct, right? Because equities went straight up, right? So if there's a normal correction in equities, I know everybody over there gets hysterical if it goes down 2%. That's a quiet evening for crypto, 2%.
Yeah.
But if equities fall off, or even if Bitcoin goes down 3 or 4%, okay, I think alts will correct. So you'll have a nasty profit taking flush, right? But as long as it's not another calamity like March, it's going to be buy the dip and moon. Okay.
Yeah.
In other words, if crypto actually takes a punch, right? Because that's the best thing that could happen, is that we could actually test it, right? If crypto takes a punch and gets back up, okay, everyone's going to go, oh my God. And that's when I think the bigger altcoins can move.
Okay, now let's go back to Bitcoin. I mean, what's happening with Bitcoin? I mean, Bitcoin has been almost ignored, right? Bitcoin is not even trending anymore on Twitter.
Right. Okay, so this is kind of a classic from the institutional world, right? In the institutional world, what goes up? It doesn't matter what sector, what market, it doesn't matter. What goes up? Well, very simply, what goes up is the things that no one owns. No one owns it, right? So if you're in crypto, you've probably got Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? You've probably got a big portfolio of the leading high market cap cryptos. This actually reminds me of a humbling moment for me where someone was asking me about asset allocation. I said big cryptos, and you were like, I'm the opposite. I want a bag of alts, right?
Yeah.
Now we know why you're running the place, right? Seriously, right? Okay, no one owns these coins, and in the case of DeFi, it's becoming obvious, especially since it's literally off the charts, that the bigger players may be jumping in. Okay, and once they can't get into DeFi anymore, or if they can't get into DeFi because they're too big, I think they're going to start moving into, let's just say, other altcoins. Okay. I have the list that I follow, but of course I'm probably going to wind up being like everybody else and being glued to whatever the token metrics models are following. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can cover all the bases, human and market, human and machine. But the Bitcoin maximalists they're running into a problem. Their coin is too popular. There's no new buyers because everybody who was going to buy it has already got it. That's the way it's trading. Okay. It's also trading, if I may add one more thing, it's because it doesn't move, it's becoming pretty obvious that, there's another type of instrument that is used as collateral, right? That's what DeFi is, wrapped Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is actually starting to move like a treasury bond, or a treasury bill, which means it doesn't really move at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's something people want to associate Bitcoin with bonds.
Well, they could associate Bitcoin with things like precious metals or anything else that can be used as collateral, right? So I know the Bitcoin maximalists are probably pretty depressed, but it's actually good news that if Bitcoin holds and becomes the collateral of the DeFi system, okay, yes, that is glorious for Bitcoin. It just means you don't get to go to the moon holding it.
Yeah. Now, just to kind of add on to that, I think what's also changed this time around versus the last bull run is just the adoption and the diversity of stablecoins. Because before, people would basically flow into Bitcoin to store their value. But now if you have stablecoins and we have Tether, we have DAI, we have the TUSD, we have Coinbase USD, we have Binance USD. There's so many different options for stablecoins that you don't really have to park your money in Bitcoin during any market uncertainty. And then if you add on yield, so for example, this week, I earn by Andre or Andres, I think, right? He's basically building a platform that lets you earn up to 25% annually on stablecoins. Like 25% on basically dollar-backed stablecoins, on holding a basket of stablecoins. I mean, that beats the return on most stocks, right? That beats the average return on an index in equities, just holding dollar-backed stablecoins. So I think if we're now in a world like this changes everything, because even with Bitcoin in the last month or so has underperformed stablecoin lending. I mean, just think about that for a second. Bitcoin, the best cryptocurrency out there right now, number one in market cap, has underperformed stablecoin lending. And when people hear that, that's why lots of BTC Maximals are now either going through Rand BTC or through Wrapped Bitcoin and trying to send their Bitcoin to Ethereum because they want to outperform Bitcoin through lending, right? Because if they can still hold the asset and get paid to take risk, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. So that's why it's very interesting to see BTC Maximals now really come around, right? Because it's kind of funny how they come around. They don't really just come out and say it. They just kind of come to you very curious and ask you about how to send Bitcoin to Ethereum to earn more interest, or how to do some initial research into altcoins, right? Even though they called them shitcoins a while back, but now they want to dabble into space. Now they're very open-minded. So not sure if that's a sign of it being the top, but I think it's definitely something all the Bitcoin Maximals have to pay attention to, because the game's changing. Because if people can make more money on DeFi with stablecoin lending versus holding Bitcoin, it might take a while for Bitcoin to pump. And this kind of might, but definitely tell us what you think. Do you think Bitcoin is going to pump anytime soon, or do you think alt season is still here? And as mentioned before, what altcoins are undervalued? Tell us down in the comments below.